Hi, I'm Tristan Ahumada. I'm CEO of Lab Code Agents, and I run a real estate team out here in Southern California. I started in real estate back in 2003, 2004, out here in Los Angeles. And I was born and raised out here, and I was last year of college, and I was living at home with my mom and married. And I was like, well, what do I do now? My mom's like, you know those real estate agents, they drive really nice cars. And why don't you try doing that? That sounds pretty good. My wife's like, yeah, that sounds awesome. At the same time, I got accepted to law school, so I tried both. And real estate was just booming at the time, and I thought, maybe I'll just stick to real estate. That's where it started. Then the whole real estate world tanked, and what I was doing wasn't working. We shifted to online leads. And then online leads started taking off, and I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool, right? If we have a system in place, we can really benefit from getting a lot of leads and then convert them over to clients. And so we did that. I started a team after that. Then I bought Realtor.com leads, and Realtor.com leads were doing really well. Our building right here where I'm at right now, my neighbor is Realtor.com. And so when they got this product, the zip code product, called me up, and my last name's Ahumada, so first on the list, AH. And I'm like, ooh, that sounds like Craigslist. I'll take all of it. So I took the whole county, and nobody knew what the heck it was. And I was like, I think I got an idea what this is. And then my business just blew up from that. And then they said, well, you're next door. Why don't you come over and tell us exactly how you're converting these online leads at a high level? I did. They put me on camera. It went to the executives. The executives are like, who is this guy? We love him. Can we fly him over to speak for us at NAR? And then that's where it all started. Spoke for NAR. Then they started taking me nationwide. And I said, hey, honey, to my wife, what do we do with this? Because this is a weird opportunity. And she's like, you should start a Facebook group. And I'm like, no, no, I'm gonna start a blog. And so I started a Facebook group and called it Lab Code Agents. And then that started growing super massive. And we just started helping out the community of real estate agents and helping them with processes, systems, best practices. And I'm here right now because of it. So thanks for having me. Before we started growing our brand using video marketing, it really came down to our presence online. And so we started using social media early on. We were really great at mailing and door knocking and farming, but it was always very, very niche oriented. What happened when video started coming along is that it allowed us to, number one, show our personality a lot more, allow us to connect with people. Before that, it's really difficult to be able to show that personality without the video, right? It's just on paper, whatever we're mailing, newsletters, emails that are very static, even social media posts with no video. It's kind of like not the same. So before, it was a mixture of Google PPC, some social, door knocking, and really mailers and flyers. We were already very successful in our area in real estate. What it allowed us to do, this whole concept of using moving pictures, right, videos to be able to connect with the audience, it made them feel like they already knew who I was. And it gave us this niche celebrity type of feel. So now when I walk into a supermarket or when I walk into the mall, and people are like, oh, it's Tristan. So now people come up to me and they're like, hey, Tristan, I saw your last video on whatever. Oh, I saw you on Facebook. Hey, I saw you were at this place and that was really cool. I've never been there. Even though they don't comment on any of my social posts, they're watching because they come up to me and they're like, hey, I saw you at. So I think the biggest difference it's made is it's allowed me and my team to connect deeper. Video has really helped us grow our brand. When it's about video or really your business, you really need to take a look at what it is that you stand for. And you find this probably a lot, Grant, where people are like, well, I don't know what to post, right? Or I don't know what to talk about on video, and how often should I do it? And the challenge is that they haven't really identified who they are on video. What's your vision, right? Vision's like to the future. What do you want your company to stand for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years from now? What are you shooting for? What are your aspirations? That's number one. Number two is, what's your mission? What does your business stand for now? What does that look like to you? First of all, those two things get confused all the time, mission versus vision. Vision is future, mission is now. And you've got to outline those so you understand what you stand for. So it becomes a lot easier when I come here and I'm speaking about my business. I know exactly what I stand for and I know what I'm shooting for. Well, there have been a lot of opportunities that have come from me doing video. When I was shooting video for Realtor.com, where I was converting leads at a high rate with one of their new products, what happened after that was I started getting people in other cities, real estate agents in other cities, seeing, oh wow, that's cool. And Tristan covers Southern California, Los Angeles, Malibu. And then all of a sudden I started getting hit up. Do you cover this area? Do you cover this area, right? As referrals. And that's one thing that we really may forget or take for granted, that the more you put yourself out there, not just in a niche area, but outside, people start identifying you as that professional that covers either a specific area or that topic, right? Whether it's real estate or whether it's whatever you're talking about. And because of that, an unintended effect was that we started getting referrals. I mean, the best one has been we got a $10 million all cash Malibu purchase. This guy calls me up, agent out of Keller Williams, Texas. He says, hey man, I don't know if you cover this area. I'm like, shoot, go ahead. He's like, well, first, is it okay if we do like a 40% referral? I go, well, it's kind of high normally, but what do you got for me? He's like, well, my dad is looking to purchase all cash house in Malibu. I'm like, sold, let's do this. 40%, I don't mind, right? Off of $10 million. So that was a referral that came out from me doing video in social media and continuing to push my presence, right? Because you never know who's watching. That's the cool thing, right? They can play it back from years ago. And so that's been one very awesome thing that's happened that I didn't expect. Referrals from other cities and other states. When I meet some entrepreneurs, that's the first question I get, which is, well, what's the end result? How much money am I gonna make from this, right? And for a moment, I want you to pause and to think, when you were a child and you were playing video games, or you were going all out and playing hide and seek or cops and robbers, which I loved playing cops and robbers, by the way. And I was getting chased by another 8-year-old kid, and I jumped into a trash can hiding, right? Because I lived in a big apartment complex. And then I'm just waiting there. I'm all in, right? I'm playing all in. And there's nobody paying me, but I'm passionate about what I'm doing. I go home and I tell my mom and dad what I just did, and they're like, you went into a trash can, right? They don't get it. And that's where I want you to pause and say, are you doing this because you love it? Or are you doing this to get paid? What's first? And I want to challenge your thoughts here, because the reason that a lot of us fail in the things that we do is because there isn't that excitement anymore. If you're excited by money, you're excited by the wrong thing. I'm gonna give you an example of everything that I've done with it, whether it's real estate in the business that I've created here, or lab coat agents, or what I'm doing with my own brands. They all come from a point of giving. When I started, I'll give you Lab Coat Agents as an example. When I started Lab Coat Agents, it was simply to give back to the real estate community, right? I never imagined that it would go international or that we would make money from it, ever. I did it just because I saw that there was an opportunity to give back, and then all of a sudden, people wanted to give back to me. And people were like, you're doing such a great job here, Tristan, and I keep seeing you everywhere. How can we work together? Now, Grant, I'm sitting here shooting a video on the 3 things you should be looking out for when doing a home inspection. Or when you're buying a home with a pool, this is what you look for. Why? Why am I doing this? Because I'm giving back and I want to educate my consumer. I want to connect with them deeper. I think that way first. And what happens is people gravitate to you because they're like, whoa, this Tristan guy, he keeps on popping up on Facebook everywhere and he keeps on giving me this great advice. Who is this and does he cover my area? Well, I use video very strategically when it comes to my brands. Who is my audience? Number 1. And that's when I realized, well, I have a few different audiences here. Number 1 is real estate audience. I have a real estate audience out here in Southern California, right? I try to gravitate more towards the luxury end of things, right? So I have a specific audience. This is what they love. This is what they like. These are the things and topics that I'm going to talk about to connect with them. Then I have a real estate audience. And with the real estate audience, these are the things I'm going to talk about, and this is how I'm going to connect with them. I actually have them written down. It's strategic in the sense that I've already outlined these. I've already created white papers, talked about it a lot, so that I know what I'm talking about. And that's where most agents make a mistake. They're not prepared. Dude, you're going on a listing presentation, you're going on a buyer presentation, and it just boggles my mind how you're not prepared to answer the question, well, how much do you charge for your commission? Is that a surprise? Did you not prepare for that? That always boggles my mind. That is a question that will come up 1 out of every 2 times. You've got to be prepared for that. And that's where we're strategic in the sense that, well, this is how we use video. We pre-answer those questions, right? So that we put those out there on YouTube, IGTV, now TikTok, Facebook. We use all of these outlets to help the consumer by giving them value, by answering the questions that we know they're gonna ask. When I think of using video strategically, I also think of, well, where are we having the most success when it comes to video? For people to be able to see it, consume it, right? And interact with us so they're engaging. And for me, it still comes down to Facebook, right? Facebook and YouTube. And so what happens if I'm shooting a long form video, let's say to me, long form is about 10 minutes or more, right? I know that I'm gonna be able to clip that and use it in IGTV, Instagram, and in some cases TikTok, and maybe even a shorter version of it inside of Facebook and YouTube. Because like I said before, the way that social is evolving now is shorter clips, right? I mean, look what TikTok hasn't announced this yet, but they have a For You page. They have a For You page. They have a page that you follow, all the following, and now, or a section, and now they're gonna add a learn section, right? But they're still gonna keep it to about a minute. That just means that people are consuming knowledge quickly, and they want you to get to the point quicker, right? So here's the secret to what I want you to do with video that's helping us out. You shoot one piece. Don't let it end there. Get that piece and clip it as much as you can. If you don't know how to clip it, hire somebody to help you out. Clip that 10-minute piece into 5 pieces. Maybe even make them 30 seconds. Throw them onto your feed on Instagram. Try it on TikTok. Send it to people by text, right? If it's an answer to a question that most of your clients have, save it on a YouTube channel. Create a playlist that says for buyers. Create another playlist that says for sellers in YouTube. Anytime they have a question, guess what? You already answered this. You don't have to answer it again. Say, you know what, Grant? It's funny you asked that because I actually have a 1-minute recording to answer that. Let me send that over to you. And all of a sudden you have an arsenal of all of these answers. And that's how we're using video successfully. The one thing that video allows us to do is it helps us connect with that user a lot more. Because when the consumer is watching video, they're watching your tonality, They're watching how excited you are. They're watching your body language. And then they're listening to what you're saying, right? So they're connecting with you in all possible ways. The consumer needs to feel like if they're going to use your services, you're going to get the job done. They need to trust you enough to be able to say, well, you know what? If we do hire Tristan, he's going to get the job done. And I think he's going to get the job done better than this person, better than this person, and better than this person that we've interviewed. And with video, when we come into an interview where they've interviewed other people, if they've seen our video and engaged with us and connected with us, instead of us starting down here and saying, who are you? We're already up here. We try to connect with people the way that we are, right? This is why I wear a t-shirt. When I show up to your home, guess what? I don't wear a three-piece suit unless my videos were shot in a three-piece suit, right? Sometimes I wear a hat. Most of the times I wear jeans and tennis shoes. That's how I show up to your home, right? So nothing changes. I use the same tonality, right? I look you in the eyes, I pay attention. You've already connected with me. I'm not different. This is why Pepsi and Coke spend billions of dollars on marketing, right? It's the same reason that I'm telling you, video creates this trust factor. Over the years, specifically over the last 4 years, I've gotten better at telling stories, and I've been very purposeful of it because I believe telling stories is really essential to connecting with people. And when you bring stories, you're allowing them to connect with you through a story that they're familiar with. This is the story that really changed my mind about stories. This was about 5 years ago. I had an agent on my team. He had the most amazing Instagram account, dude. The guy would get blown up by people DMing him. Oh my gosh, I saw you showing this home in Beverly Hills. It's like $15 million. Oh, this is awesome. I love following your Instagram. These are the DMs that you'd get, right? So one of the DMs one time, he was on my team at the time. He got this message from a guy out in Qatar, Saudi Arabia area, right? And he says, the guy goes, oh, I love the home you just showed. I'm gonna be down in Beverly Hills 3 months from now, and I wanna see if I could stop by and take a look at a few homes. I'm either thinking of leasing or I'm thinking of buying. I'm not sure. By the way, I'm a prince out here. And at that point, we're like, yeah, whatever. Because we get a lot of crap on Instagram. People DMing us to do this, to do that, right? So we push that away. We're like, yeah, what's your number? We pass it on to the newest agent on the team. And we tell him, dude, we got this great lead from Instagram. I feel terrible now. We got this great lead from Instagram, and this is what they want. They're gonna come in with all cash. They're either gonna purchase or they're gonna lease, but either way, you get to see, Sunset, you get to see Hollywood Hills, you get to see Beverly Hills. And so the day comes, and me and the Instagram agent are actually showing property in Malibu that day. And this other agent meets up with them in, I think it's Hollywood Hills where he meets up with them. They go for about 2 hours. We get a call from the new agent that was showing him property. Get a call. Ring, ring. Hi. Hey, what's up, man? How's it going? He's like, dude, they liked one of the homes a lot and they want to lease it, but they're carrying this like briefcase of cash and I don't know what to do. And so he sends me a picture straight out of a comic book, a picture of cash on a briefcase. And then I look at the guy, Kevin's the guy with the Instagram, and I'm like, dude, the people were real. They end up leasing the home, okay, for, I think it was $50,000 a month. They end up leasing the home. And then this agent connects with them so well that he's driving around town with them in their Bugatti and going into clubs and popping bubbly, showing pictures on Instagram. I'm like, damn, we missed this opportunity because we gave this fake lead away to the newest agent on the team. And so that's a true story. Every time I told that, I was like, oh, people are connecting really well with this. That changed my mind, that story. There are different levels to doing video. And I think as real estate agents, we really need to simplify this process as much for us so that we're able to focus on the things that we're great at. And that's us. We're really great at connecting with the consumer, right? Whether it's prospecting, whatever that looks like to you, calling, door knocking, whatever that looks like, right? Making relationships, right? Agents are great at making relationships. So instead of you having to focus on creating more video content and you having to figure out where to place it, I would say look for companies like, like yours, like Grant's, where you can say, Grant, I've got this great video and my clients, they love it and everybody I send it to loves it. Can you help me with it? Can you push it out on Facebook? Can you push it out on Instagram? What can you do? I think that's the biggest misconception we have in any business. We think that we have to do everything. Dude, that's what I thought. Why do you think I had to learn Facebook? I thought I had to learn the back end of Facebook. I had to learn everything. So I had to dive into Ads Manager, learn it. And I'm like, all that time, I mean, it's cool that I know it now, right? But I didn't need to do that. All I need to do was pop up my phone, record a great video on something that I thought was helpful to the consumer, remember giving value, and then send it to someone like you and say, help me clip it and help it go viral, right? Because I want as many people to see it as possible because it's a message that I want delivered based on my principles, my mission, my value, right? And how I want to connect with that demographic that I have. That's the biggest mistake. So I think most agents should remain on level 1, which is just pick up your darn phone and start recording that message. Level 2 would be like, well, let's get some equipment, right? And let's go a little bit crazier here. Let's spend a few $1,000s. And then level 3 would be, well, let me figure out YouTube, the back end of YouTube, the back end of Facebook. How does everything else work? How do I put money behind it? But do you really want to do that? I mean, are you really a video marketer at that point? No, don't lose sight of what you are, right? You're here to build relationships as a real estate agent. That's what it comes down to. Leverage talented people and technology to be able to do that better. So our job needs to remain being an amazing real estate agent through connecting with people, creating relationships, right? And shooting simple videos and then sending them to you or to another company to help us out. That's the biggest challenge. So I'd say, look, we need to remain somewhere around level 1 and level 2. Level 3, too much. You're gonna go crazy. Stay focused on prospecting. If you're thinking, well, I really love video and I want to take it to the next level so that I can blow up my brand, I think first you've got to identify where you're most comfortable with on social, right? We already talked about social is the internet now. That's a fact. That's where everything is right now. So think, are you posting more on Facebook? Are you posting more on Instagram? Are you posting on YouTube more? Where are you right now? So that when you get help to take you to that next level, you're already posting in that platform and you still have a strong presence. That I think is a big challenge because what agents do, companies, agents, brokers, teams, whatever they do, this is what they do. They're like, well, I want to be on Instagram. I want to be on Facebook. I want to be on YouTube. I want to be everywhere, right? And yet what happens is they end up being nowhere because they're so spread out. I say, do this. If you're on Facebook already, then continue to make a plan to go all in on Facebook. And that plan, that business plan is going to include you hiring a person to come in and record you. If you're terrible at picking up your phone and doing it yourself and you want more of like polished work, hire a video person. Next, you don't know how to do the marketing, so hire somebody to break that down, use the back end of Facebook to throw those videos out so you don't boost them. And then also have them work on your pixel on Facebook. And then guess what? You're already on Facebook posting once a day, twice a day. Well, that's even gonna be better because now people are gonna be seeing you and your videos, and they're gonna be seeing that you're posting comments, you're going all in. That I think is the biggest challenge, man. When people wanna say, well, I wanna go to that next level on my brand. Well, look, focus on the one social platform that you're good at, and then be great at it. Because guess what happens? When you're great at one, you kind of figure out the rest. You're like, whoa, I have a formula here, and I think I can use it on YouTube, and I think I could probably use it on Instagram, and darn it, I think I can use it on TikTok too. But if you're just kind of half doing it, that's how your whole social, whole video, whole world's gonna be. You're gonna just kind of show up half the time. Authenticity in video marketing is very important because who you are on video really should be who you are in real life, right? But it's also, you've got to be very careful, especially with what's happening right now in our current environment in the US and the world, where some people feel like because they have a right to speak, because they have a right to do something, they're gonna go ahead and speak their mind, right? And that's not authenticity. I think people get it confused, right? Authenticity is not showing that you have a right, you're gonna use it no matter what, and you're just gonna steamroll over people's opinions, right? Authenticity is who you are at your core. Meaning when you talk, how is it that you talk to people? Are you caring? Are you loving? Are you kind? How is it that you're gonna help somebody? Because the way that you show up on video on a daily basis, that's the way you're gonna show up in person. And so this is where authenticity and being opinionated, you've gotta separate them and think authenticity to people is really how you come across in person. Are you caring? Like, dude, you and I have been talking here, right? You're pretty authentic, and when it comes down to it, I can connect with you because of who you are. You're not hiding anything from me. So 2 lessons here. Lesson number 1, follow up authentically. Here's the thing. We all have this little voice in our heads. It's telling us sometimes, you should have done that a little better. Or wow, I can't believe you said that. You're so stupid. That's the voice that we have in our head sometimes. It's called negative self-talk. Regardless of who you are, you have that. The challenge is stopping it as soon as you get it. And when you think of video, you think of the success that you can have, but then in your mind, you're like, that's just, I probably need a whole bunch of equipment, or I can't do it because it's not me. That's the type of negative self-talk you have to take care of in your mind, because the way that we talk to ourselves daily is the way that we show up in life. You ever wonder why some people connect with others a lot better? Because they stop that negative self-talk they have. Instead of looking at it and saying, wow, that person got the listing. I wonder what they did that I didn't do. I should call him up or call her up and see what she did. What can I learn from this? You look at setbacks as a place to grow. And so when you start tweaking that in your mind and start identifying those moments, it'll be a lot easier for you to pick up the camera and shoot. And start simple. The thing is, you can just record yourself and not throw it out anywhere. Just record. And then you don't even ever have to look at it. Just get comfortable with your recording. Start that process. What happens is the mind starts getting into this habit, forming a habit over time. And then after a while, you're like, well, you know what? I recorded it. Let's try putting it out there, because you're already in a habit. But you'll never get there if you don't work on that part of your mind that's always telling you can't do this or that this isn't for you. It's an opportunity that you have that's not going to be here for a long time. This is what I tell people with social media. As new social media outlets come out, they're more and more focused on video. You have an opportunity right now to connect with a massive audience, for people to be able to connect with you with whatever message you're delivering. And you're not going to be able to do that if you don't finally pick up the phone and record yourself.